Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just testing the mic. Whosoever is there, are you able to hear me? You can just write a message in the chat box. All right. Okay. Javed, thank you for confirming.
Hello.
Realme 3 Pro, I think you have raised your hand. You want to speak up?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. I don't hear you. That's why he called you. Okay.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes. Right now.
All right. Okay, fine.
Video cancel video off ಮಾಡಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋ ಏನಿದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋ ಅಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಏನ್ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋದ್ ಮೇಲು ಅಂತ ಯಾನ್ಕೋ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಳಕೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾನ್ಕೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ತಾನೆ
All right, so we'll wait for just 5 more minutes for others to join, and then after that I'll start. I think a couple of more people are expected to join, so we'll just take another 3 minutes and then we'll start. All right, so I'll start with whatever is there in the agenda for the day. So this 1 hour session is primarily conducted to make sure that you all understand what our offering is, what you are going to, or what you can expect from this course. So we will be discussing at length about the course content, what all things we are going to cover in this entire course, so that it gives you a fair idea about what to expect from it. It's also to set the foundation for your actual 14 sessions modules for this financial modeling course. So it should be very clear at the end of this that what is the coverage for this course, what all topics will be done and what will not be done. Yeah, like I mean, it will also give you an idea about how the sessions are conducted. So in the first part of this presentation, we'll be primarily talking about the course, its content, and how the delivery will happen. We have a couple of slides introducing ourselves, which is what EduPristine is, what its journey had been, what kind of courses EduPristine has been conducting, and what our testimonials have been. And last one will tell you all the information and processes about how to get enrolled if at all you turn out to be interested. So who to contact for course information, who to contact for payments. So accordingly, we have three parts to the presentation. The first one dedicated towards the course outline, second one towards our company, EduPristine, and the third one is who will be holding your hand should you decide to join this course. At any point in time, please feel free to ask questions. You can raise your hand. I will unmute you. You can speak up. You can write your question in the Q&A box. I'll respond to that. So feel free to ask whatever doubt you will have in your mind so that it turns out to be a fruitful session for all of you. Now, this financial modeling course that we are currently offering, it's a course which primarily intends to improve your ability and skill sets to create models. Now, in our day-to-day life, we are anyways creating knowingly, unknowingly lots of models. Every buy decision that you are taking, you are going to a market to purchase a cell phone, you are going to the market to buy any other thing, knowingly, unknowingly, somewhere in your mind, you are processing certain information that is given to you. And the outcome of that processing of information is that you finally decide whether I should buy this or not. Right? So it's again a model. A model practically is nothing but it's a black box. There are certain set of assumptions, inputs that go inside the model, and eventually it processes all those things and it gives you a set of outputs which you further use for making decisions. So in a way, it's trying to forecast what can happen if there are certain sets of inputs or assumptions given to this entire setup. From the perspective of the companies, now, in order to answer the questions like where do you see the company going 5 years down the line, or if the company is trying to start something new, how will that business looks 5 years down the line, or if I'm putting it certain money today, how will that money grow or degrow 5 years down the line? Now, in order to answer those questions correctly, I mean, the only correct way is to actually put the money or actually take the steps, see how the company unfolds for next 5 years, and then eventually figure out what has happened at the end of 5 years. Financial modeling is an attempt to forecast today what can happen in next 5 years. Accurately, inaccurately, it's a separate thing, but financial model is primarily trying to forecast how the company will look like next 5 years today itself. So based on all the assumptions, based on all the inputs, based on all the evidences that you are going to put into the model, this model is primarily trying to showcase to you today how the story will unfold, whether the company will grow or not. So the financial modeling enjoys previous privileges from this perspective because this is the only tool that helps you narrate a story. It's the only tool that tells you how your own business will look like in future without actually doing it. It's the only tool that gives you a support to all the fundraising that you are doing today, because a narrator, because whatever you narrate through this model, an investor or a lender will actually buy or not buy your story. So this course is primarily designed to create such models which tells you or which eventually showcase a story which ventures into the future and try to predict today itself how things will look like. Like any other model, a financial model can also go bad or it can do exceptionally well. It all depends what's the quality of inputs that you have given. So financial modeling gains its popularity from the fact that it has direct application towards valuation of the company. It is direct application towards figuring out whether you should end up acquiring a company or not. It has a direct bearing on whether if you undertake a project today, when are you going to start making money, whether you end up making enough money or not. So all your capital budgeting decisions like NPV, IRR, all those things you can actually end up doing today itself. So it's a good tool that supports almost all the investment banking jobs. It's a good tool that supports almost all the consulting jobs. A good tool that supports all the trading and treasury management activities that you're undertaking. It's a good tool that support a financial research or an equity research. That's not the only application. Apart from this investment banking and corporate strategy roles that you are thinking about, there are many more applications that financial modeling can have. Sorry. Not many times you were trying to see whether your company will be able to grow 2 times or not. You were trying to figure out whether my company is at this level at the end of 5 years, whether I'll be able to move to this level or not. Or if I have to move to this level in 5 years down the line, what all it takes, how much money do I need to have, what all other preparations I need to do. All those questions can actually get addressed through a financial model. Suppose you were trying to bid for a project, you were in the bidding department or you were in the business development department and you're trying to bid for a project. Now, sitting today, you have to take a call on how future will unfold. So the financial model helps you figure that out today itself, that if you are going to put in this much money and if things unfold like this, whether you will end up making money or not. If you are in a costing department, you end up piling up all the cost that you are going to incur. On top of that, you add your margin, you set up the price. So pricing decisions, costing decisions, all the roles like EA to CEO, CFO, looking at geographical expansion, adding one more product, discontinuing with the product in the portfolio. All these decisions will eventually have a financial model at the back of it to support it. So these are the industry applications of financial model. So in a nutshell, a financial model will find this application in investment banking jobs, it will find its application in consulting jobs, all the transaction advisory jobs, equity research jobs, due diligence jobs, business development jobs, costing jobs, pricing decisions, and any of the corporate strategy and planning roles. So these are the practical real life applications of financial modeling. This course primarily aims to add or improve your skill sets so that you end up becoming suitable for any of these profiles. Of course, it's a course that primarily combines mathematics with finance. Now, there is a conceptualization part, there is an art of making assumptions part, and then eventually there is lots of linkages because all these number needs to be processed to end up giving you the output. So it's a good combination of finance, financial concepts, and mathematics. So we are trying to integrate the two by making use of Excel. So accordingly, if you have a basic knowledge of finance, commerce, so a bachelor's degree in this area, or BBA, BCom degree, MCom degree will be good enough of starting point for this course. You also need to have a good communication and writing skills, primarily so that you end up asking the right questions, so that when the questions are asked to you, you are able to respond to them properly. So it also tries to prepare you towards those kind of interviews. So it also tries to add up to your existing communication and writing skills. None of the models get presented the way it is because a model is a very complex, complicated, and long, cumbersome tool. Eventually, what gets presented is the summary or the final output out of it. So, and then followed by a couple of recommendations, couple of bullet points of suggestions or next steps, right? So you should also be a bit good at writing the skills. Or if you have some exposure with MS Excel, that's definitely going to add. So, but if you are not, then the first one or two sessions, you need to put in more effort primarily to come to the par with the rest of the participants. So net, the eligibility criteria for this course will be a bachelor's degree or decent communication skills. And last but not the least, some kind of exposure with Excel, or at least the willingness or ability to scale up when required as far as Excel is concerned. So if you have little understanding of financial statements, some exposure with Excel and willingness to learn, you are eligible for this particular course. Uh, apart from this, apart from being useful to the students or apart from being useful to the people who are trying to make a career in this field, this course is also useful for people who are currently stuck in some of the mundane accounting, taxation, or finance roles. If you want to change your career path from your regular accounting finance activities towards a corporate finance, then this course is definitely going to add or help you steer that change. So anyone who aspires to work in this area or who's already currently struggling or working in a particular area but wants to change the area from what you are currently to something in the field of corporate finance, then this course is definitely for you. This course is definitely going to add to your existing skill sets and ability to work in the field of corporate finance. Apart from the course, this course is, I mean, your knowledge about this particular program is also tested by an exam at the end of it. This exam is administered jointly by EduPristine and Mumbai Stock Exchange. And then there's a certificate that is given at the end of the course. Now, depending upon whether you have just participated or whether you have cleared the exam, the certificate can be a certificate of merit or it can be a certificate of participation. So the course will be followed by an exam, roughly running across 2 hours. It will test your understanding of the course, understanding of the content that we have discussed here. And then accordingly, your certificate will be awarded. That's what you get as a tangible benefit out of this course, a certificate jointly given by DSC and EduPristine. Now, this entire program is primarily made to bridge the gap between where you live at the school and what is required in the industry. So we're trying to bridge that gap. So needless to say, the course is going to be very rigorous. It's going to be very rich as far as case studies are concerned. The course will start with some basic Excel tips and it will move towards some very, very complicated things at the end. So slowly and gradually, this course will increase its level from a basic Excel to advanced Excel modeling, where we will finally be writing a code, we'll be getting some knowledge about the macros. And throughout this entire journey, the entire course will be supported by lots of real life case studies across multiple topics. So the course is spread across 14 sessions. Each session will last for 5 hours. So there is some 70 hours of rigorous training that happens in this course. It has got 3 modules in it. And the first module, which the primary objective is that you get exposed to some of the basic Excel functions so that all the participants are at the same level as far as start of the course is concerned. Some of you might have a good exposure, some of you might have an average exposure, some of you might not have even done some basic stuff in Excel. So we just don't want you to suffer. So the first module, which is the basic Excel tips, which also encompasses across just one session, is primarily to make sure that you all polish, learn, and know the basic Excel functions so that from the next session onwards, you don't get stuck primarily because you don't know a couple of basic functions in Excel. So first session primarily brings at par all the participants as far as the prerequisite is concerned. Then the second module starts. The second module aims at developing a financial model that leads to the valuation of the company. So we start with a case, which is again an abridged version of a real life case where a private equity infusion was taking place. So the case has been shortened, it has been written down, running across a couple of pages so that it can be pushed into the class. But the rigor of the case is still exactly the same, that how would a private equity player look at the entire company, what kind of model they are going to make, what kind of valuation they are going to arrive at before they make the investments. So the second module runs across some 4 sessions where you primarily get exposed to making a financial model by a discounted cash flow method and a relative valuation, which eventually ends up throwing the valuation of the company. So second module takes you towards the concepts of corporate valuation. So how do you value a firm? How do you value the equity? What is discounted cash flow method? But you remember, and most of you will also be knowing, that you won't be able to do a discounted cash flow valuation unless you end up making lots of background sheets. So we start with the revenue driver, we look at the cost, we try to calculate EBITDA. Then after that, we have a depreciation schedule, asset schedule, entire debt schedule, cash flow statement. So we have a projected P&L, balance sheet, and a cash flow statement at the end of the module. And then after that, the ground is all set to carry out the discounted cash flow method. So within this module, there will be various sub-modules looking at revenue, cost, asset schedule, debt modeling, tax modeling, and then eventually the ratio analysis and your valuation. So this will be the second module. By the time you complete the second module, you will have some understanding of Excel and you will also have a good understanding of how to create a model that leads to the valuation of the company. The third module is dedicated towards another interesting topic, which is mergers and acquisition. Mergers and acquisition gains importance primarily because it directly involves buying and selling of companies. So buying and selling of companies are generally an expensive decision. It's once in a lifetime decision. Most of the time, a company will end up making themselves or breaking themselves depending upon whether their acquisition decision was good or bad. Since the decision of sale or purchase is such a big one, which involves so much money, where the value at risk is so high, where there is so much of uncertainty, where the decision can cost you a lot or it can also make you a lot in future, you definitely want to analyze all the information that has been given to you. You definitely want to foresee in future as far as possible and as much as possible before you take the decision. So in this course, we again look at a real life case of M&A, wherein Microsoft acquisition of LinkedIn. So that's the case that we generally take up here. So this course gives a due weightage and due importance to mergers and acquisitions. It's very, very interesting topic. So this module is spread across 2 sessions. That means 10 hours will be dedicated towards mergers and acquisition. Again, supported by a real life case. We move towards the next module. In the next module, we take a little bit of break from finance, and then we again get back into Excel and we try looking at some of the advanced concepts in Excel. So we look at developer tab, we look at automation, we look at writing a code, we look at some of the functions which are a little complicated to do. And this entire journey is supported by a case in project finance. So that's the third area of finance where you get exposed to, apart from corporate valuation, mergers and acquisition. So corporate valuation, mergers and acquisition is the project finance. In between, you have basic Excel and advanced Excel. So at the end of this module, your Excel ability or your modeling ability goes to a next level altogether. You know how to create an automated dashboard, how to write a code that does all the mundane activities, that does all the repetitive activities. And it also gives you a flavor of how automation looks like in Excel. In terms of the finance, you get to know how to model a project finance. Project finance model is different from a normal model because the project finance has an execution period that itself may last over a couple of months or a couple of years. Very similar to a tall project. I mean, you may take another 3 years to just construct a tall project itself. So what happens to the cash flows in between? So project finance, how to incorporate the delay, how to incorporate the interest during construction period. So these models are slightly more complicated than your normal corporate valuation or mergers and acquisition model. That's the reason why project finance involves some advanced concepts of Excel as well. So in this model, which again runs across on 4 or 5 sessions, you primarily get exposed to a lot into Excel, its advanced Excel functions, how to carry out automation in Excel, and then eventually end up solving the case of project finance. This case is again an abridged version of real life case where client has approached a particular company or a transaction advisor who can suggest them whether they should be bidding for this project or not. So it's a tall bridge project. Again, the case has been shortened and abridged so that it can be completed in the classroom, but the rigor of the case is still the same. So it's a tall project, an abridged version of real life case that's discussed over here. And then finally, in the fifth module, we let the ground or the canvas completely open for the participants. So far, we will generally be holding your hand by giving you templates, by giving you or prompting you at all the places, by asking you questions, by cross-questioning your own assumptions. In the final module, there is no template, nothing. You pick up a real life company, we pick up a real life company, we start from data collection, we look at the publicly available information, either on their website or on the entire internet, try to collect our information, roll out our own template, and carry out our own valuation. So we generally take the case study of Accenture here. So we start with completely blank Excel file. We collect our own data, we make our own template, we put in our own assumptions, and then we try to build up a model for Accenture, which can lead to the valuation of Accenture. And then we see how or what kind of price our model is throwing versus what is the actual trading price. So that's the hands-on experience on creating a model completely on your own. So last 2 sessions, which is case study 2, is primarily dependent upon how much you have learned in the previous session and whether you have really picked up your ability to create a model or not. So here is the completely blank Excel file that we start with. And you guys have to slowly and slowly do it yourself, guide us, tell all of us how you'll be developing the final model. So this eventually tests you across and cuts across the entire learning that would have happened in this course. So these are the 5 modules running in this course, spread across 14 sessions. Each session will comprise of 5 hours, and each session will be very, very rigorous, where you will be working along with the instructor in the class on Excel files, making assumptions, writing formulae, writing codes, and then figuring out what's the outcome of that. So the 5 hours that you are spending in the class, it's by and large a reflection of what happens in a small investment bank or in a consulting firm. So that will also give you a flavor of rigor and analytical job that people generally end up doing in such kind of role. So it's a very close simulation of what will happen in a typical on a typical day in your corporate room. These are some of the snapshots of what you will end up creating in the financial modeling course. So such kind of dashboards, such kind of Excel files, right, graphs, and much more. Anonymous attendee, I am an IPCC student. Will financial modeling course be a plus point with an IPCC because I'm not going to continue with CA? I'll just address that. Let me see which opportunity wise, we have discussed that at the beginning itself, what kind of opportunities or what kind of career will open up for you on the basis of this course. I'm not saying that, or nobody from EduPristine will actually say that this is the only course that will open all the doors for you, right? Your effort, your opportunities, and your own rigor needs to match up with these profiles, because eventually you will end up getting one of these roles only if you clear the rigorous interviews that these guys are putting in place. However, this is definitely going to orient you towards these roles. It's definitely going to make a better, more skillful person towards these roles. Right? You know what are the terms they're talking about. You know what kind of questions they will ask, and if there's a particular question that is asked, what kind of replies you have to give. Eventually, you will be able to crack this or not is totally dependent upon what kind of opportunity comes and how did you perform in those interviews and tests. I mean, nobody can clear an interview and exam for on your behalf. So it's eventually your ability to clear them. But the course will definitely prepare you and take you from this level to this level. It's definitely going to add to your existing skill set. It's definitely going to add to your ability to think, write, create a model. And then it's you and your potential employer. If you are able to crack this, of course, you are set to clear inventories. So I will just quickly recap what kind of opportunities open up or what kind of opportunities this particular course will prepare you towards. So all the investment banking jobs, capital market jobs, equity research jobs, consulting jobs, advisory roles, corporate finance roles like fundraising on the finance side, on the business development where you are bidding for a particular project, on a business development where you are trying to see if the country is now, if the company is now ready to expand into another country, if you want to start a new product in your portfolio, in the portfolio of your own company, if you're trying to figure out whether you should discontinue with the product, all the corporate strategy roles, all the corporate planning roles, all the roles like executive assistant to CEO, CFO in a large conglomerate, costing roles, pricing roles. So all these things are the opportunities whose doors will open up for you. Now, how much do you make out of those opportunities? Definitely, it's dependent upon you. So those are the profiles. It's great for people who are especially in the tech background, if they don't have the time or even let's say resources to complete a full-time CFA course. They also don't have time to pursue a full-time MBA, but this is the course that will definitely try to bridge the gap. I mean, there is no way we can say that the financial modeling course is a substitute for entire MBA program. I can also not say that this is the substitute for your entire CFA program. But nevertheless, whatever bare minimum is required to be done to come to this level, everything is here. So you have to make your own decisions depending upon what you are looking for. But it's definitely a course that will bridge the gap, between where you are and what problem you are looking for. Now, we have talked about the content. So you know what kind of expertise or what is it that you are going to gain out of course. You are definitely going to get exposed to 3 or 4 good topics in corporate finance. And they all are the topics or they all are the areas which are continuously looking for experts. So be it the role of corporate valuation, be it the role of investment banking, be it the role of fundraising, be it the role of mergers and acquisition profile, or transaction advisory. You get an expertise in those areas, right? Depending upon how much you are able to retain and what kind of work you have done in the past, you definitely get some expertise in each of these fields. You understand their terminology, you understand how to create a working model when you have a limited information. So you know what it requires to come to this kind of role. So it can definitely add to your expertise. Now, whether it makes you a complete expert in this area or not, I mean, it's very unlikely that you will become an valuation expert or you will become an M&A expert just by going through these 14 sessions. Because I have worked in the field of M&A, I have worked in the field of fundraising, and I still don't consider myself expert because I still come across a situation which is completely different from whatever I worked upon in the past. So being an expertise is again a relative term, but it definitely takes you away from the basic level and keeps you somewhere here. So you need to understand, I mean, what this course can offer and what it cannot offer. It's very important as a customer for you to understand what benefit it will bring to you and what it cannot do. Remember, this course is not a substitute for a complete 2-year MBA program. It's not a substitute for CFA. At the same time, it's not a substitute, or it's not going to make you an expert overnight in these areas. However, it's definitely going to add to your skill sets. It's definitely going to make you more aware, more familiar, more ready to such kind of profiles. Right. So in terms of the skill sets also we have talked about, in order to, I mean, financial model eventually is what? It's eventually a combination of finance and mathematics. Now, mathematics is achieved through Excel. Finance is on the basis of whatever concepts you might have already learned in your graduation days if you are a person from this field, or what you are going to learn in this course. So on one side is finance, on the other side is mathematics. The Excel is trying to merge the two to create or to give you an ability to create a financial model. So the required skill sets will be a little bit understanding of financial statement, your willingness to learn, your willingness to sit at one place for 5 hours at a stretch and do everything along with the instructor, your fondness for rigor, your fondness for analysis. So the more fond you are about them, more likings you have about these things, more will be your learning. So the primary skill sets required for these financial models still remain the same. A little bit knowledge about finance, a little bit understanding about the financial statements, willingness to learn, and then some mathematics in between. So some qualitative knowledge, some quantitative knowledge, all of them put together will eventually give you an ability to make a good model. A good model is not necessarily a model which will have just an analytical assumptions. A good model or a good modeler is not necessarily a person who is very good at analysis. A person who is also good at taking a strategic call, a person who is also very good at making strategic decisions, making a big, good business decisions, are also the authors of good financial models. So qualitative versus quantitative, operational versus strategic, all those skill sets which are required for financial modeling, you will eventually end up picking up in this course. That how to gather the right information, how to process them, and once the output has come, how to make recommendations. So skill sets starting point is a graduation degree, supported by your willingness to learn, supported by your willingness to do the hard work in these 70 hours. So it's more of your willpower, it's more of your willingness than what you already have in the kitty. Even if you are a little weak in finance, even if you're a little weak in mathematics, I mean, the course will make sure that you generally pick up the concepts and move on. This is the certificate of participation. This is certificate of excellence. So what you see on the screen is a sample snapshot of the kind of certificate that will come to you. So we also want to showcase it upfront so that you know what kind of certificate will come to you. So again, I understand. I mean, some of you might be doing this course primarily to obtain a certification that helps you in the longer run. So this is one certificate of participation or excellence, depending upon whether you attend the PSC exam or not, and whether you clear that or not. You end up getting a certificate of participation primarily because you have participated in the course. You end up getting a certificate of excellence primarily because you have attended the course, cleared the exam. The certificate is jointly issued by BSc along with EduPristine. Now, there is just one question, and there's one more question. I'm a CFA level 2 candidate. I have 14 years of experience in investment management and back office operation. I'm planning to switch to front office job. Fine. So, Roshan, anonymous attendee, I really don't know what query is. I am an IPCC student. Roshan, your question is clear, so let me respond to your question. Meanwhile, the IPCC student who has written this question, you need to be a little bit more about this because I don't understand. Are you still pursuing CA? Because I'm not going to continue with CA. Your statement is not making sense to me, so you'll have to be a little bit more illustrative. You have to elaborate your question. Roshan, the question that you have asked for is a perfect setting for what kind of people we will also like to have. People who are stuck in some kind of role or a profile that you are not happy with and you want to change your career path and move to a different line. This course is definitely going to help you out. And the kind of profile that you are now looking for is also something which is supported by this course, like equity research report. Fixed income research is not something which we will be catering to into this. Fixed income research will primarily be involving a lot about bond markets and debt capital markets. So we'll have little understanding about the debt, but we are definitely not going to touch upon bond capital markets. In India, we hardly see any activity in the bond capital markets as well. So fixed income research may not be something which will be useful. I mean, this course may not be useful for that, but for an equity research, it's definitely a course that's going to add to your ability. It's going to get you exposed. The bigger question is that you already have a 14 years of experience, especially in the back office operation, and you're now looking for a front office job. So, like any other switch, the switch will happen, but it's going to cost you something on your experience front. So you will definitely not be placed at par. I mean, if I have spent 14 hours, 14 years of my life in a front role of investment bank, I would have already become a VP or a senior vice president or even an executive director. There is no way a person with 14 years of experience in the back office is going to come to par to that level, primarily because your experience is far less in terms of the rigor, in terms of analysis, in comparison to what is required in the front end job. So it's definitely going to cost you equality as far as number of years are concerned, but you will definitely get some credit for whatever work you have done. So if a fresher joins at an associate or an analyst level one, you should definitely be joining as a senior associate on the basis of how good your or how relevant your back office experience had been. So it's a call that you have to eventually take and you have to finally take. We all can help you, we all can aid you. So what I'm saying is it's a switch that you should definitely look for because back office operation is not going to take long. It's not going to take you very far in your career. You have worked for 14 years, so I believe that you still have another 20, 25 years left with you. So it's makes sense to make an attempt to switch towards front end roles because front end roles are the roles that will eventually take you higher up in the ladder, in the corporate ladder. So your decision is also perfect. How soon, how quickly you'll be able to do that is dependent upon you and it's dependent upon the external situation. Will this course help you? This course will definitely help you. You are already a CFA level 2 candidate, so you will also be able to good at picking up this course. I'm also believing that since you have cleared CFA level 1, you will also have the basic understanding about the finance roles in place. So making it's definitely worth trying the switch that you are looking for, and this course is definitely going to help. How much, how soon is a call or is something that only time will tell. No one can tell you in advance, but this course is definitely ideal for you. So let me know if there's still something that you want to ask, because the career switch call is eventually your call. We all can help you. The course can help you. Something else can help you, but it's finally your call. I told you how you will be treated in an industry. There is no way you will be at par with a person who has already spent 14 years in investment banking role or in a equity research role. So there is no way there will be parity. There will definitely be a cost And that cost of transition will be that you might not be getting a credit for entire 14 years. So you'll be treated as a person who has an equivalent experience of just 3 years or 4 years. But once you get into the role and once you start doing well there, then the sky is the limit. I mean, it's not a time bound proportions happening there. All those promotions in these roles are performance based. You are able to cut your client, you are able to put together your client, you are able to build them, you are able to produce outputs which make sense for your client. Your journey can be faster than anyone else. Whatever you might have lost in this transition is something that you can keep. Thanks a lot, Roshan. In the absence of any other question, I'm just moving to the next topic. And if I see more questions there, I'll respond to that. You can also raise your hand and ask questions. So a little bit about EduPristine, like any other educational training institute here. EduPristine was also started by 4 Indian founders. They were people from investment banking, private equity background. So the course was I think the company was started way back in 2008 or 2009. And I think they ran the company for 8 or 9 years, and roughly somewhere in 2018, I think they made an exit. So Atlm, a strategic investor, took over the reins of this company from them, I think way back in 2017 or 18, I guess. So now EduPristine is part of Atlm Global Education. It's a New York Stock Exchange listed company, and we have a trading symbol of EGE. The company is headquartered in United States. It's a $3 billion company having 9 institutions and companies, and it has employees spread across some 145 locations. So that gives you an idea about the size and scale. Uh, they have kind of trained close to 142,000 degree seeking students. Uh, EduPristine is leading training providers in the field of finance. And with the passage of time, we have also added lots of non-financial course in the field of so we have plenty of offerings spread across finance and non-finance areas. Uh, we conduct training by both the modes, the classroom mode as well as the online mode. Prior to the onset of COVID-19, uh, it was more towards classroom sessions. And now with this lockdown in progress, the platform has shifted purely towards online. So as of now, we are offering online training sessions only. Uh, EduPristine, over its entire span of some 10 years, it would have trained more than 50,000 students. So it already has an alumni base of 50,000 students. 50,000 students at some point in time or the other have been associated with EduPristine. We started with Mumbai and gradually expanded to other cities in India as well. So as of now, we are carrying out our operations in 4 cities in India. Uh, there is a pool of some over 600 faculty associated with us. We don't have full-time faculty. We most of the time hire people from relevant work experience background and they conduct the training. So for example, I am a trainer for financial modeling course. So I have done my BTech in mechanical engineering from IIT Delhi, and then I have gone to IIM Ahmedabad for my MBA. I have worked for a significant period of time in investment banking, consulting, fundraising, and right now I'm running my own startup along with a couple of my friends. So that I will be an instructor for financial modeling. Now there are many more people who will be interacting in this course or any other course that you end up taking with EduPristine. All the people will have a similar pedigree. All the people will have similar academic qualification and similar work profile. We necessarily bring in those people who are currently working in these areas to train you so that you end up getting the latest and best practices in the industry. So the faculty pool of 600 experts that we are talking about here are necessarily the people who have at some point in time worked in this field or they continue to work in this field. And this is true not only for financial modeling course, this is true for almost every course that we are offering. Once the course is over, there will be a couple of sessions towards placements, towards making you ready for the placements if you end up taking that facility with us. So a couple of sessions will be towards writing a good CV, couple of sessions will be towards writing or improving your communication skills, preparing you towards the interview. And then the last but not the least, 100% placement assistance. So this is the highlight of the program. 14 sessions, each sessions of 5 hours, done by industry experts, associated or accompanied by soft skill training and 100% placement assistance. Now, there are many more players in the industry offering similar, if not identical products. We are not saying who's good, who's bad. We're just trying to tell you that what you will end up getting at EduPristine, and then you can make your own informed decision. So, and at this kind of internet age, I mean, it's not that difficult to gather information and critically evaluate the competitors. So, we are affiliated with BSc Institute. We provide placement assistance. We definitely give you a platform and a network, and you can be a part of this platform and network even after the course is over. The content is comprehensive, it's well integrated with industry practices, they are relevant. I mean, there have been many people coming back to us and telling us how this course has helped them once they have started their career in a different path or once they have started a career with a new role. Many people have turned back and have told us clearly how this course has helped them. Faculties are best people with best academic qualification, educational pedigree, and industry expertise. You will always find all the faculty very, very relevant. At the end of every session, you get an opportunity to rate the faculty. So, in a way, you are the one who will be controlling whether that faculty should continue in the next session or not. So that ability to control this, the ability to figure out who your instructor should be, or whether this particular instructor should be continued or discontinued, that lies with you. You end up getting an access to our learning modules, which comprises or which consist of lots of materials and recorded videos. So tomorrow, if you want to revisit whatever we did in this course, or tomorrow if you want to re you want to dig again whatever you have learned in this course, you will have access to your LMS, you will have access to all the recorded videos so that you end up recapping whatever you have learned in this course. So these are the things which we believe are something that we are offering differently in comparison to other players. There will be other players and tips and bits will be offering 2 points out of these 7 points. There will be another who will be offering another 3 out of 7 points. We are collectively offering all these 7 points at one place for your benefit. Training methodology should not, I mean, I'm sure most of you would have already understood. It's a classroom training session, just that it's conducted online. Otherwise, we generally conduct a batch of 20, 25 students in a room, right? And then we do everything, projecting the thing on the screen, and then you continue to work on your laptop, instructor continues to work on its laptop. So it's a rigorous Excel-based working that happens in all the sessions. You will be working upon real life cases, you will be working upon Excel, you will be getting exposed to advanced Excel functions. There will be questions, there will be discussions, there will be discussion on the questions which are typically asked in the interviews. So the teaching methodology is primarily case study driven. It's primarily driven by the discussion in the classroom. It's primarily driven by the experience of the faculty. And of course, last but not the least, your own willingness. So mix of case studies, analytical tools, models, questions, discussions. So the training methodology is purely interactive. I mean, in any of the sessions, there is hardly a scope of getting bored because there are so many things that needs to be done. So you end up doing so many things along with the instructor. And all the outputs, all the inputs will be completely visible to you. Whether whatever you have created, it's working or not working, it's all visible on the screen. Whether you've committed an error, that error needs to be fixed. It's all, so the training methodology is rigorous, it's analytical, and It's definitely something which you will enjoy. It's definitely not giving you any time and opportunity to get bored with this. The soft skills training is primarily to make you ready towards the interview. You have learned the hard skills, you have learned the abilities through this course that will be complemented by some soft skills training, which will cover mostly how to speak, how to answer, how to articulate your viewpoints, how should your behavior be when somebody is asking you questions, your ability to listen to others, your ability to comprehend while you are listening. So the soft skill trainings will primarily be aimed at improving your soft skills and making you more ready towards the interviews that these kind of people generally conduct. So it helps you become more clear in your thought. It helps you articulate your own statements. It helps you figure out when to speak, how much to speak. It gives you an ability to back up your decisions with respect to some analytical analysis that might be happening in your mind. So it prepares you, takes you one step closer to what these people are looking for. Course guidance and support. So we have talked about you will have an access to our learning modules. You will have access to lots of recorded videos. If you want to participate in any of the subsequent batches in a select on the select topics in the select modules, you'll be welcome to do that. You'll be allowed to do that without being charged. Lots of seminars and webinars are conducted by us on industry relevant topics. You'll be invited for that. Will be completely free participation for you. So even though you might be doing a course that just gets completed over, let's say, 7 or 8 weekends or within a span of 2 months, you become an alumni of EduPristine with a constant support round the year. So this is something that you can carry upon even once the course is over. As I told, I mean, the ability to choose your own faculty is there with you. Every faculty needs to be rated at the end of the session. So it's you who decides whether that faculty will continue in the next session or not. So you end up rating the faculty, and on the basis of that rating, we decide whether the faculty has to be changed or not. But even though the decision is taken by us, the driver of that decision are all the participants. So we end up picking the experienced and certified professionals to teach, but we also recognize the fact that not everyone who is great at things will turn out to be a great instructor. So such mismatches happen. Our process continuously filters them out. So you are powerful. You are the one who will decide who will be the faculty in the next session. So it's totally your decision. Placement assistant. So there is a complete support that is given to you, right? So as I told you, I mean, there will be a resume building exercise, there will be soft skill trainings, there will be interview preparation, and the leads will eventually be passed on to you. These are the places where probably you can end up getting the kind of profile that you are looking at. But all these are support activities. I hope you all understand. I mean, it's a placement assistance. Eventually, we are able to crack that opportunity or not. We are able to convert those leads into a meaningful opportunity. It's totally dependent upon how much you know. It's totally dependent upon what your skill sets are. Otherwise, there is a full support. There will be plenty of leads that will be given to you. But eventually, it's on you to figure out how to crack them. We can help, we can support, we can help you take the first step, second step, third step. We can take you closer to the target. But eventually, it's you who's the person who is going to nail this opportunity. So, complete support, complete assistance. Some of the places where we have successfully conducted this training in the past, so they also happen to be our client. You can see right in the beginning, we have conducted similar programs for KPMG, India Professionals, and ENY Real Estate team. Bank of America also had been our client for a good period of time. A couple of trainings that I have conducted myself on the back end team of the Bank of America. JP Morgan, HSBC, Credit Suisse, Franklin, Missouri Bank. Again, these had been our reputed client, and we have been getting and conducting sessions with them until recent past. With the onset of COVID, the entire environment had changed, so that's a separate thing. I mean, however, in a normal time, these have been our client, and this is not it's one list that's coming here. There are many other training places, institutes where we have conducted a similar program. So FMS Delhi, ISB, IIM Calcutta. I have personally gone to IIM Calcutta myself. IIT Delhi, BITS Pilani, IIM Indore. So all these educational institutions have been our client in the past. The program offerings, I mean, we have talked about almost each and every component that has been written over here. 14 days, 5 hours each. So 50 sessions. The classes are conducted over weekends, Saturday and Sunday. We are not offering classroom training as of now. There will be a certification at the end of it. There will be an exam at the end of it. And methodology and pedagogy we have talked about a lot. So I think there is nothing new for you on this slide. The last part is enrollment. How do you get started? Right. So there will be coordinators from EduPristine who will be in constant touch with you. They will be continuously guiding you in this entire enrollment process. They will help you out with your choices. They will help you out with your payments. They will help you out with all the queries that you might be having on this particular course anytime in this entire journey. So you can enroll for now by paying the fees. Now we have all the payment mechanisms available with you. You have to just choose any one of them. It's very simple, and you make the payment and then you become a part of the course. So all the payment modes, methodologies, standard in terms are available with us. Our website is full of testimonials from students who have been a part of these trainings in the past. I'm sure if some of you have visited the website, you will see lots of testimonials floating around there. What you see on the screen is a couple of screenshots from some of those testimonials. This is also to give you an understanding or help you get an understanding about how people have liked or disliked this course previously. So these are some of the feedbacks from the or the testimonials from our alum, alumni. If you're looking for some more testimonials, if you want to have some more credibility to this entire thing, you can visit our website. There are many more such credentials and testimonials existing over there. So with this, the seminar content that whatever we had is over. However, I'm sure a lot of you, many of you will have some queries. So we are now open to all your queries. We'll be glad to take up your questions. So please start shooting your questions about anything related to this program that you have in your mind. Can you name the company placement you have done and for which jobs? This is from anonymous attendee. Yeah, all right. So this I will request the coordinator from EduPristine to respond. Any other query, anything else? So name of the companies that we have generally placed the people with and the kind of roles that somebody from EduPristine will tell you. Any other query, doubt that you have about the course, please do let me know. Sure. Anything, I mean, should whether you want to do this or not, or this is what your long-term objective is, whether this is going to help you or not. It's please feel free to ask. How many candidates got recruited through EduPristine till date statistics? Yes, yes, this can be shared. All this information, I will just ask somebody from EduPristine to share with you. Let me see if somebody is available here who can answer this question. So these are the questions related to placement. So let me see if someone is online here who can answer this. Please keep writing your questions here. So the queries regarding placements, you will have to just raise it to the salesperson who is in touch with you. They will respond to those queries. They will respond you with the name of the companies and all the statistics that you are looking for. So if you have a very specific query related to the placements, then kindly raise those questions to the salesperson who is in touch with you, or just check with them. So you will have to ask these questions from the salesperson. So feel free to ask all such placement related queries and statistics from that particular person. He should be responding to all your queries. Anything else on the course content? What will be covered? What will not be covered? Please feel free to write. Uh, Anonymous attendee, I am not knowing your name, so I will not be able to pass on the lead to the salesperson. But if you are already in touch with somebody in the salesperson, you can ask your first two questions. Your last question: if any candidate is struggling in the course, how can you focus? I mean, explain not so good in Excel. Yeah. So I mean, why only you? It can happen with almost anyone. So that simply means that if you are struggling, that means you have to put in more number of hours in comparison to the other participants. So uh, we will try to provide you or help you during the class by slowing down the speed. But slowing down the speed may not always be an answer, because whether you are able to pick up those things or not is totally dependent upon you. And moreover, it's an online session. So the effectiveness of the help is also dependent upon you. But we have seen that people who have generally struggled with Excel in the past, they, if they end up putting some additional number of hours between the sessions, just trying to recap whatever we have done in the course, just trying to reproduce everything that we have covered in the previous session before coming to the next session, they generally tend to pick it up. But that effort has to come from your side. Nobody is going to be after you to do that. If you're not that good with Excel, or if you're struggling with Excel, that means you have to put in more number of hours than other participant in this course. And that number of hours or the efforts have to come from your side. No one from our side will be able to guide you or help you over there. However, if you are doing something at your end, and if you are encountering a problem, you pick it up in the next session, and that the instructor will explain. But yeah, it's of course only after you have put in your own effort. And Excel, boss, we are rigorously using Excel in this course. So if you really are lagging in Excel, it's very important that you end up catching up with the other participants as early as possible in the course. Otherwise, the rest of the course will turn out to be a fiasco for you. You will not be able to do most of the things subsequently after session number 6 or 7. So half the course will be something which you will not practice merely because you don't know Excel or you have not picked up the good speed. So support will be by slowing down the speed. Support will be by addressing your query. Support will not be in terms of hand holding and running after you that you practice this, you practice this. That's totally up to you. What does IPCC stand for, by the way? Because I'm not going to continue. I'm still trying to figure out your background before I can give you a valuable suggestion. Any other question from anyone? So Aryan, Aisha, Devashri, Karthik, Roshan, Ujwal, if you have some more queries, anything else, please feel free to ask here. The salesperson who is in touch with you will also be another point of contact for your queries. But if you have something upon the course, about the coverage, about the content, about what you will learn, about what you should expect, then this is the right place because I will be probably able to explain and help you out better than the salesperson. So please feel free before we disconnect. So Aryan, Ayesha, Devashri, Karthik, Roshan, Ujwal, anything from your side? Will you share this PPT? What will you do with this PPT? I mean, I don't see any merit in sharing this PPT. I'll just check with the salesperson whether he will be able to share or not. But the only thing that is relevant for you in this PPT for the decision making is the course content. And I think the pamphlet or the booklet that they would have given or the website that they would have shown to you will contain all the information that is here. So I really don't know what good this PPT will do to you because all this information is there in the public domain. The course content, the kind of support we are giving you. So it's there. Apart from that, I don't think there is anything really important for you, but I'll still check with the person. If they can share the PPT, they'll share the PPT. It's not. Any other query? Fine. So if there's no forthcoming query, then I think it's time to end the session. So I'll just wait for a minute or two before I end the session. If you are through, then you can leave. There's no problem with that. IPCC CA enter. If you are already CA enter, then I'm sure you will already be doing something on Excel. Otherwise, I really don't know how your training will happen. But it's okay. Also, I really wish that you have thought a lot about whether you want to complete the CA finals or not, because I really don't believe or don't think that that will be a good decision if you're already a CA enter, not to go for your CA finals. So I'm sure, I mean, there might be some situation at your end that's preventing you from this, but be thoughtful about it. All right, so no more queries, and I think we have already overshot the time. So thank you very much for being here. Be in touch with your sales team person, and he should be your point of contact for this. Thank you very much for coming here. I'll now end the meeting for all of you. Thank you very much. Have a good rest part of Sunday with you. Thank you all.